You want
It's
your
ridiculous
gavel?
amount of pages.
Want to make some noise?
I think there's 1,000 pages.
I know, I'm a slacker. I didn't have to put Steve's thing. Have your gavel.
We'll call the meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone tonight for our first official meeting back in the Great Hall. We're very excited about it, and I hope everyone is excited as we are. First we'll stand for the national anthem.
What time?
Pledge allegiance, I'm sorry.
What time do you call the meeting
But
to
if you
order?
want to
Oh,
say,
yeah. I'll call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock.
to the flag, to the flag, United States of America, to the republic. Sean, were you going to sing
I'll sing. Yeah, like me to sing.
national anthem?
What's that?
Were you going to sing the national anthem?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it is baseball, excuse me.
I got hockey in my mind.
Play
actually.
ball.
First order, consideration of last month's meeting's minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept last meeting's minutes.
We have one motion to accept. I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Monthly activity reports. Mark?
Yes, I got those ready for you. Perfect. First screen is going to be the incidence cases for year-to-date 2024. As you see, we had an increase of 112%, which is up to 66 cases in the month of March from 31. If you analyze that and go through it, you see about 25% of that is coming from the school. So there was an increase in cases coming from the school. That was the big increase. Of those incidents, 90 offenses came out of that for the month of March, and you'll see all that. Arrest for the month of March is an increase of 63.64%. We're at 18 from 11 from the month of March, which is up by 7. It's not too bad. Percentage makes it look a little bad for you, but it's actually only 7 increase there. So the traffic stops year-to-date 2024. For March, it's 28.29%, 109 stops, down from 152. I mean, if our incidences are increased, your stops are going to go down a little bit. So out of 11 tickets given out, that's 10.01% chance of getting a ticket. Not too bad. And then you'll see all the data that comes with it, with streets, everything that's in there. Collisions year-to-date. March, we had a decrease of 60%, which is really good, down to 4 from 10 and 11 in January, which is really good in the month of March, knowing that we had a couple snowstorms. So that's a good decrease to see. The next slide shows you the streets, Center Streets, South Main, and Valley Lane again. So this is the personal analysis report. As you'll see, all the officers with all their cases, arrests, citations, accidents, everything's right there for everybody. So that's the month of March that's showing up there. As you'll see, there's a 100, what do I got? Sorry about that. Which one do I have? Well, I have the same thing on both of them. So you'll see there's 66 for the incidents for the month of March. Then I'll get the whole year that we're going through. So we've had 132 this year. And then you can compare that to what last year's is. And we had 190 at this time. So we have a little decrease coming in there. It's not a bad thing. I think a lot of it's to do with, if you analyze it, the school has decreased in January and February, but we had a huge increase coming in March. So the next slide you'll see is the courts. So you'll see that he had 8 arraignments up there for depositions. We had 2 put on file for good behavior. Another one put on file, but had to get his license and 30 hours of community service. 1 went to diversion, and 3 pled guilty. totaling $974 total for up there at the courts. And remember, all that goes to the state, doesn't come into the town. So the next slide, what we got, well, not the slide, but for the school resource, Eric LaRochelle. So the month of March, March was the seventh month of the school for SRO Eric LaRochelle with 20, it's actually the third month, with 20 days of the school. He responded to several incidents in the middle school, assisted Corporal Joe Shanks with calls in the high school as they're working together up there. SRO LaRochelle assisted Kingswood Middle School Guidance Council with a child custody issue. He assisted staff with emotional out-of-control student. The student eventually calmed down and was retrieved by his parent. He took a report for a student bringing in a 7-inch camping knife. He really was showing off the camping knife to his friends. So that's still under investigation and dealing with the school. SRO LaRochelle responded to assist staff in the main office for disorderly conduct. He assisted staff with transporting a student to Huggins Hospital for a psych evaluation due to suicidal statements. He took a vandalism report from a student breaking a car windshield in the auto body classroom in the Lakes Region Tech. The investigation is still ongoing. LaRochelle spoke with a staff from the Crescent Lake School about a child coming forward about a parent abusing alcohol. They were advised to contact DCYF. He spent a considerable amount of time assisting staff with a single student having numerous emotional breakdowns throughout the month. Peace was restored each time. SRO Gabrielli, SRO Shanks, and SRO LaRochelle all participated in a tabletop exercise run by the Homeland Security and hosted by Crescent Lake School. The exercise was from 1 to 5 and involved participations from every school in the district. I believe you were there, right? I'd heard it was a good turnout.
Good, yeah.
And really well done by the Homeland Security. SRO LaRochelle caught a high school student attempting to sell THC-infused vape cartridges in the boys' bathroom. Items were seized, a report was taken, and juvenile referred paperwork has been sent out. The case is still ongoing. He took a report about 2 students having a fight in the gym. Both students received school discipline for that. He responded to the main office for a disorderly student again later in the month. And he took a report of a high school student for a freshman assaulting a junior. So that was referred to, paperwork and completed and sent. The case is still ongoing. SRO LaRochelle assisted SRO Shanks at the high school nurse with a high school student having reoccurring seizures. He took a report from DCYF regarding a high school student coming forward about being sexually assaulted in another country. And he continues to make efforts to eat lunch with the 7th and 8th grade students to build relationships, answer questions, and encourage dialogue between certain cliques of students that don't typically interact with each other. That's what he's trying to do every month, get into those, the cafeteria. And you'll see his numbers for the month. And I'll go right into Officer Joe Shanks, who was up there for the month of March. Shanks took a report from a student who came in to the SRO office to report a crime that was committed outside of Wolfeboro. That was forwarded over to the other agency. He assisted EMS and Wolfeboro Fire Rescue with a student who had a seizure in a bathroom, suspected of having been caused by drugs. A cartridge located in the student's person was sent to the New Hampshire State Lab and tested positive for a Delta-9 THC, which basically is a psychoactive compound in cannabis, which causes a high. He took a report of a sexual assault on a KYC bus that occurred in the way back coming from Concord in Pittsfield, and that was referred back to them, into those jurisdictions. He assisted SRO LaRochelle with an interview of a student who brought a knife to school. Corporal Shanks played basketball with the high school in the gym class. Get into that. It's nice to see that. He spoke with the students about past tense collisions. A student was given self-reporting form and advised to contact his insurance agents. After receiving a complaint from a school staff member about students driving recklessly through the parking lots, in the morning, Corporal Shanks patrolled the Arts Center parking lot in the morning and made 4 motor vehicle stops. He's caught students vaping in the bathroom. You'll see this a lot as we keep going here. Students received school discipline. He assisted school administrative with students who were leaving campus at lunch with a dismissal slip. He spoke with a student and his mother about a dog bite that occurred in Brookfield. They were referred to Wakefield PD, who covers them. He spoke with a student about inappropriate comments to and from opposite sex, which constitutes sexual harassment, and ways to report and prevent it. He took a report of an assault on a student that was captured on a cell phone. The student was punched in the head and torso approximately 19 times. In addition to school discipline, a CANS referral was completed and sent to HS. He assisted admin with a student who had seizures in the classroom. He took a report of a student showing nude images of a girl and other students. So that's still ongoing. He caught 2 students vaping in the bathroom. Both received school discipline. The next day, he caught 2 other students vaping in the bathroom, who also received school discipline. He prevented a fight in the bathroom. He walked in and heard 2 students in verbal argument talking about fighting. Both students were sent to the office. As I mentioned before, he was in that tabletop exercise on March 21st. And he patrolled the parking lots in the morning, caught 2 students vaping in the bathroom. Both received school discipline. And that's about it for him. And you'll see his monthly numbers that keep on coming in there. So I think the next slide I do have is the budget, because we haven't looked at the budget this year, and with our default budget that's come in. So that should be all the numbers that we have in there and going this month. So we're looking pretty good as we're in, this shows week 14 of the payroll. So we should be at 26.92%. So you'll see the lines on the right side, what we used. Some percentages are off due to some payments that are out early. But most of them are pretty good to being right on the percentage of 26. So other than you'll see vehicle maintenance, that's getting a little high already. We do have some aging fleet, and we're not going to get a new one this year, so we got to keep an eye on that. But as you'll see, we're about, in the police budget, 3.12% underspent going in right now into March, so that's actually pretty good. Communications looking good. They're at 28.4, but that percentage, we have a lot of annual payments to IMC that go out right off the bat in the month of January. So that, as you see, the percentages there are 98 and 90%, which ups it a little. So right now, it's showing that we're, 1.48% overspent, but with those annual payments, those will catch up in the year, so I'm not too worried about it. Animal control apparently did not get in it. Animal control is looking fine at 4.68 underspent, which is pretty normal at this time of year. And overall budget is at 2.206 underspent. So we're looking pretty good right now. So no concerns that we do have, even knowing that's a default budget. So, and hopefully we get some employees to come on, and we're still working on that, so that will help out. But that's all I got for today.
Thanks, Mark. You have
Yep.
any questions? Chief?
Good evening. I'd just give you a quick rundown of what we've been up to, other than the actual mission. Is that better? Can you hear me now? Just responding to calls and doing police work. In addition to that, I make you aware of a few things that have been occurring, or what will be occurring. As you know, we hired Andy Shigori in the part-time role that we titled investigator. The lion's share of his job is going to be to take over where I left off with the accreditation pursuit that we've been into and the writing of policies. Andy's hit the ground running and is already well into it. Andy, as you may or may not know, retired recently from Tuftonboro after 25 years as its police chief, and he's a former president of the New Hampshire Chiefs of Police Association. He's also been a user of Power DMS, which is a program that we've recently picked up on. He's been using it for 5 years, so what a great trainer this is going to be for us as well. You may also be aware that with Sherry's help, we publicized the policies of the agency to the town website. These are the former policies. As the new ones get revised and updated, they will replace the old ones. They are not all there. There are some that are redacted or even not there due to officer safety, these types of things. Procedures for certain calls that we may get to that aren't in the public's interest to have copies of. We have one conditional offer of employment on the table that we're working through a background investigation that Officer Gabrielli is working on. We have 3 candidates currently to hopefully fill more positions, and they're in process as well. And we're looking forward to the 3-person interview team to come and speak to them as part of the process. It seemed to have worked pretty well last time. As far as what's going on in the building, everybody is familiar with the police department building as where it sits. One of the major concerns I had coming in was this physical separation of people. And it became something that, whether it was real or imagined, was oftentimes used as a thing. The upstairs does this, the downstairs does that. We don't know what happens upstairs. So I made a determination, let's get rid of that. So the squad room upstairs will be used as a squad room. It's not going to be an empty room that sometimes they use, sometimes they don't. As it stands currently, the officers were going into this back room where there's lockers and evidence lockers, and they had a couple computers set up there. They have been ordered out of there. They're to move all their stuff upstairs, and we're all going to be upstairs together. Mia Lyons is assisting me with Block 5 to get the computers that are downstairs in the locker room upstairs so that the officers can make use of it. We can have a better relationship, if for lack of a better term, where we're more accessible to each other and we're not separated by this physicality that's been going on for I don't know how long. It's not healthy. In the new building, there will be separation, but by design of the building, it's not even as bad as it is now. No. So, right at current, officers could be in that police department and I don't even know they're there, and vice versa. And I want to be accessible. I want Captain Libby accessible, and this is going to help us get to that point, I think. So we'll play it by ear, and I'll report back next meeting and tell you how it's going. We do have, I have filed something called a petition for modification with the PELRB. PELRB will kind of oversees the union activities, these types of things through the state of New Hampshire through its RSAs. In review of our policies and procedures and what everybody does, I noted that the communications supervisor is included in the collective bargaining unit. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me based upon Supreme Court cases that say just the opposite. I did speak to Mia Lyons, who is the communications supervisor, and I asked her about this. She agreed in the conversation that it didn't make much sense if she was going to be a supervisor that she'd be in a union with people that she was supervising. And I did explain to her that it was my intention that her position be taken out of that collective bargaining unit. She is, and I, as a supervisor and being paid to be a supervisor and having a schedule that's commensurate to being a supervisor, I have certain expectations, as does the police commission and the town, of that position, much like ours as supervisors. To do that job appropriately and to the level of expertise I would like to see, she can't be in that same unit. She did agree to that, although the union rep down in Chelmsford, Mass. Disagreed with that and said it was a negotiation that we would have to have. I disagreed with that, and off we go. So I have filed a petition with the PLRB to force that position out of the union. I believe that will call for, because I don't believe that he'll agree to that, that'll call for a hearing, which I'm very well prepared to attend and explain where we sit on that. On union business for a minute, I have made several very clear conversations in public meetings that I'm eager to meet with the union and to discuss what we can discuss and try to come on to some common grounds and not be adversary with each other just because they're the union. I don't feel the need that adversarial relationships have to happen if you have a union shop. In fact, it was our last commission meeting where I made that statement to the president of the union. To date, I should want to note to the commission that has not occurred yet. I have not been approached. I have not been communicated with. I've reached out, and I just want it noted that we're trying, and I will continue to try to do that. Do you have anything else that you wanted to note that I'm forgetting?
Just, we have an internship coming.
I'll let you address the internship, because that's been something you've been all over.
Yeah, so we have an internship coming in. So she will start at the end of May and end in August. The plan is for the internship to go. She's planning on graduating in December, and hopefully maybe coming on with us, going through the process, and hopefully coming on to our PD, but you never know with the time and everything like that. So the first stage is the intern. She'll get to know the PD, the area, and so that will give her some credits. So and she plans on graduating early in December, so she can possibly get on with us in maybe January.
And this kind of goes along with what I had explained to the board last time, is I'm not looking for any applicant, I'm looking for the right applicant. And in working in law enforcement in small towns my whole career, it's been crucial that the person that comes on the PD fits the town, and the town accepts the officer. They can't be of different mindset. This is a perfect opportunity, and having worked at Plymouth State with a lot of interns, that was one of the biggest pieces of getting people into internships, is fitting the agency. And if you fit the agency in an internship, then oftentimes that intern stays. And in fact, the last 7, I believe it was, interns that we placed at Laconia became police officers at Laconia for that very reason. So I'm excited about this. She sounds very bright, and I'm looking forward to meeting her. The other thing I wanted to quick mention was I am requiring an inventory done of all police equipment and uniforms. I don't have a date yet, but I'm thinking it'll probably be done by the end of June. I'd like to get it done before that, but I want a list of all items owned by the police department within that building at least, to include any of the equipment or uniforms that we have, as well as office supplies and computers and et cetera, that you can access when you need to. And that's all I have, I think.
Yeah, just the other thing is the building, update on the building. It's moving along actually pretty good, especially with all the snow that we did have. They're looking at getting the fire department into those bays by May 14th. That's the goal. A little behind with their initial logistic park, but, I mean, with so many things that are going on in the weather, it's hard to do. But they're moving along and then start tearing down that second portion of Phase 2, so we're getting there. It's moving along. We're going to have a big part. I mean, Phase 1 was not the PD. It's really the fire department, so they've been really focused on that. When you start getting into Phase 2, we start getting into some police department and communications areas, and especially the evidence is in Phase 2, so when before they knock that down, we have to move all that. So that's going to be a project coming up for us. Thank God I'm not the evidence person. So, but that is a huge project coming up before they tear down that building, so. But other than that, it's moving good. We were just in it today.
Wandering around.
Great.
Any questions?
Yeah. So PELRB is the Public Employees Labor Relation Board, just for those that are listening out there in the community. And can you just cover the positions, the vacant positions? I know that obviously Investigator Shigori filled your position, which you left in order to become chief. But can you just tell the community how many positions we have that are left vacant, what those positions are? And then when do we expect everything, that if everything goes according to plan, when do we expect those positions to be filled? Because we're obviously coming up to the busy season here in the community.
Sure. We have 3 patrol, 1 lieutenant, right now?
Yeah.
All right, so there's 3 patrol positions and Lieutenant Maloney's position that are open now. We hope to have those 3 patrol positions filled. When we have them, I can't say for sure. We have 1 possible certified officer. That person, after a fairly short field training program, knowing the town and the policies, will be out on the road. The other 2 will have to attend the New Hampshire Police Academy first. 16 weeks and then FTO.
And the next academy is June and July.
June and July.
And
There's
as
2 of
far as the lieutenant's position, we expect to fill the position, not the position, but the opening as a officer's position after the first of the year. So we're hoping 3 now and then 1. And if we lose anybody else in the meantime, we'll want to fill that position before the end of the year. Just having a plan. PELRB, if anybody wants to look it up, is under RSA 273-A, if that's of interest to you and you want to know what that's all about.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Chief, if I could just have you just go over again, because I think it's really important that the public knows. I think it's a fantastic move on the agency's part in reference to the issue you spoke about, putting the policies and procedures on the town website. So any citizen in town can access that at their will, correct?
Public information.
Yep, great.
But again, with the added piece that not all policies are there. Some will be redacted only for the officer's safety or the safety of a public member. We don't want everybody to know exactly how I want officers to respond tactically, for example. But yes, for the most part, the lion's share is posted as of now.
Thank you.
I would ask the public that if they're looking at anything that I've put online, if it's confusing to you, you have a question about it, please call me. If I've put something up in error, please let me know, and I'll be happy to jump on that and get that fixed, because sometimes the second, third, fourth set of eyes really helps a lot.
Great. Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
I should mention, I was remiss in doing so earlier, that obviously Steve Woods is absent. He's on vacation, and we expect him back next month's meeting. One item that as a commission, we need to take a vote on is, of course, very sadly, we lost Bob O'Brien last year. And he's been replaced, obviously, here on the board. So we'd like to take a vote tonight. So obviously, he's due to be paid $1,000 as stipend for being a commissioner for last year, for 2023. And both the Michelle Chamberlain And Sherry brought up the fact that, we could actually allow that check to be issued to his wife in his absence. So I'd move to take a vote on that now.
Yeah, so moved.
Yep. I second that. So all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So that check will be issued to Bob's wife in his absence. Sherry? Selectmen's representative. Well,
I think up there. You might have to turn that on first, though.
Good evening.
Oh, it's on.
It's on.
Good evening. Paul O'Brien. It's great to be back. It really is. Brian and I will be your team from the Board of Selectmen. A couple of things that, just to update you on what we've been doing. We went through our reorganization last evening. Chairman, vice chairman, committee appointments, and the like. So we've done that. That'll be posted up on the website if you didn't have the time to watch it on TV. We also went through rules of procedure, which is important to the Board of Selectmen, code of ethics, things of that nature, which are very important to us. Because at the end of the day, we all have to be confidential about things we do. Not to keep secrets, but to be confidential. It's a big difference. So we went through that process. The default budget is out. It's on the town's website for people who want to take a look at that. We took a decision to kind of have like what does a default budget mean? Because I think people are a little confused about that. So you'll hear more about what we intend to do about that, explaining it to folks. We all want to thank, the police department, the fire department, and everybody who was around when all the trees came down and broke all the wires. We really thank you for what you did. And I mean that personally because I saw your folks out there and everybody else out there, so that was very, very important. And it was interesting that we look across the state and look across other counties in Massachusetts that got really zapped. And we somehow got through it. And there was some inconvenience for a lot of people, but we got through it, which was really kind of nice. In the next several weeks, there's going to be some power outages. You're probably all aware of that. You'll probably get phone calls. The municipal electric department has put out notices. They're going to be converting up on North Main Street and on the tributary streets. Those big poles that they were sticking up over the past couple of years, they're going to now convert that power onto those mains. We're going to start flushing hydrants, which is probably going to cause people to say, why is all this water squirting all over the place? But we've got to go through that process, and that will be announced to people. And I just want to say personally, it's refreshing to hear from the chief, what you're about doing and how you want to go about doing that. I just personally believe that we can spend a whole bunch of time yelling at each other. But that doesn't advance the business. We got to figure out how not to do that and how to disagree on topics, and not be not get to the point where we're just kind of throwing mud at each other because it doesn't work. So with that, that's my selectmen's report. I hope that Brian, did I miss anything? I didn't miss anything. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Budget Committee.
I've seen the work that's been done on the budget, and I commend you guys for, taking that really seriously and coming in right where you need to be. So thank you for that. One of the questions that was asked was about the new recruits and bringing on and filling out the force. Be curious to see, how we're going to fit that into the budget. So. Any advance notice you might want to give, we'd be happy to hear about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Input from members of the public. Right? No? You're on the spot. Anyone else? Luke?
I want to just say that I think it's important to let the community know that we're here in the Great Hall for a reason. And the time that we're here is for a reason. And much like there's, we're trying to instill transparency, and the chief is doing a great job, by posting those policies on the web that can be posted. We are also here, for the community, and we, as the police commissioner, are trying to be as transparent as we can as well. So the meetings will be every second Thursday in the Great Hall at 6 p.m. so that hopefully more of the public will join us and share this effort, to create the most professional police department in the town of Wolfeboro that fairly and impartially enforces state law and town ordinances. So thank you. We're off to a great start. Thanks.
Thanks, appreciate it. That was brought up a while ago by the three of us, and one of the things we looked at was, were our meetings, do they echo how the other meetings are run? Time, location, access to TV. So we thought the changes were really important, and we're pretty excited about it. So now at 6 o'clock, we hope more people get to show up and join us, and we look forward to that. Next meeting date, as mentioned, be Thursday, May 9th at 6 p.m. Thursday, May 9th at 6 p.m. I think tonight we need to go into non-public at RSA 91A3, A and I. Let's make that motion.
So moved, yes.
I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
No, I gotta take individual votes.
Oh, individual votes?
Aye.
And aye. We'll take a short recess.
Okay.